Fernando Alvarez writes to me and he says, Paul, after watching your video, Octave Records and Tidal, I understood why your recordings will not be available on the most popular streaming services, and I absolutely agree with you. We all want to be paid for our work, and musicians are no exception. But haven't you considered the idea of having your own streaming service? I don't know the complexities and costs of a project of these characteristics, but since this service would be under the control of Octave Records, you could guarantee not only a fair remuneration for the musicians, but also the quality of service. Yeah, we've actually thought a lot about that, more in terms of internet radio, which I'm still toying with. Before the pandemic hit, I had hired a group of programmers and we came that close to building the PS Audio internet radio channel. And that channel, we would have had an Octave Records channel, we would have a rock and roll channel, a jazz channel, a classical channel. We would have, that was one of my long-term dreams that I still haven't given up on. Still haven't given up on it. But how cool would it be to have an Octave Records radio channel where one could listen to it? And the difference between an internet radio channel and a streaming service is that the internet radio channel, you don't have a choice of what comes next, right? So if you're listening to the Octave Records channel, and we've got, hundreds of tracks, those tracks would be played in some sort of order, and you'd have a disc jockey telling you, hey, that was Clandestine Amigo, and give you a little background on that and how it was recorded, and it's kind of cool, and have a listen here and like that. And the licensing is very different. There really isn't a threat to the musicians. You're listening to their music for free, but it really doesn't deprive them of something in the same way that streaming does. So streaming says you don't have to buy anything, because anytime you want to listen to Temporary Circumstances or Gabe Mervine's Say Something, you just hit a button and listen to it. Why buy it? And when that happens, and that's what he's talking about, that's what I was talking about, the musicians, the studio, gets nothing. Literally nothing. And people say, that's wrong, they're all paid. No, we're really not. At the small levels, Octave Records is growing, and I so very much appreciate all the support. We've probably tripled in sales, and almost to the point where the studios break even. But we're not there. And that's rough. Our musicians are getting paid, which is great. But if all of a sudden all their music was available on a streaming platform for free, then there would be little reason for anybody to buy it. And how would we support the studio? I want to get the musicians paid. I want to be able to support Octave Records and its mission of bringing great recordings to the world, recordings you can't get anywhere else. And wait till you see, you haven't heard anything really out of the new studio. All that we've been releasing has been great stuff, but it was earlier recordings. By the time you're seeing this, you're going to start having some Octave releases that were done in DSD 256, and wow, the difference is staggering. It's huge. So back to the subject though. As we grow Octave Records, we have to have some form of revenue coming in. Otherwise, the musicians aren't going to work for us. We can't afford to do it. So I think it's a pretty fair deal. Our own streaming service, as he suggests, where you could charge a monthly subscription or something, I think that'd be a lot harder to pull off. As far as I know, the programming and the resources needed to make your own little version of Tidal or Qobuz are kind of daunting. Network radio, not so much, but a streaming service, probably more than little PS Audio can handle, or little Octave Records can handle. But a great idea, and thank you for your support. I appreciate it.